And welcome back, everybody, to the Podcaster Nation. That's right, I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our stuff and you wanted more, so you came back for more. And we have more for you. We have an awesome guest here today. You guys are going to love this guy. You're going to love his stuff. And you know what? That's because this is the place that we come together, we raise each other up. This is the podcast that is about podcasters. It's for podcasters. It's done by podcasters. And this is truly the place where the rising tide raises all ships. So, without further ado, which I know everybody hates, I hate that statement, but once in a while you got to throw it out there to get your attention. You guys all awake? Yeah, I'm probably going to use the word niche once or twice in this episode too, and you all know how I feel about that. So it's like nailed in a chalkboard with that word. But here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, please welcome to the podcast. Awesome dude, great voice. The host of the It's Not Just Talking with Vince Quinn podcast, Vince Quinn. You got it. You guys cracked the code. Vince, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Rory, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and just podcast nerd with you. It's just nice to get like deep in the weeds on podcast nerdery. I love this stuff. It's so much fun to talk about. So yeah, I'm ready to rock, man.
That's an expression I like. I like that one. Podcast
Okay.
nerdery. All right, I'm stealing that starting right
I
now.
don't think I've ever said it. So yeah, there we go. It's a new invention right here on the show. You have it right there.
There we go. All right, Vince. Now, you've been a podcaster for a little while. You have a unique niche, and there I went and used the word. But so I want to hear about that, of course. But before that, let everybody know. You let our audience know who is Vince Quinn. What are you about, and what brings you here today, brother?
Yeah, Vince Quinn, handsome guy from the Philadelphia area, I'd like to believe, funny, engaging, a great time at parties. And beyond that, just an absolute podcast obsessive. I mean, I love doing podcasting, and really, it's the art form and the nuance of what makes a great show and how to run it at a high level and execute it at a high level. To think about all those things technically is the stuff that really excites me about it. So I'm super into that stuff. And it started for me in part when I first actually worked on a podcast. I was an intern at a church in New York City in like 2012. And this priest was on Sirius XM, had his own show on Sirius XM, and had his own podcast that he was running with this one group. So I worked on that show and got introduced to everything from that side, which was really interesting. And then from there, I mean, started being a Philly kid, like started a Philly sports blog. So I was writing articles and running my own website and had my own podcast. I got in at a radio station where it was like, spin the wheel, get a t-shirt. And like I was doing all of that. So I got into the business that way, but it was a sports radio station. So I ended up getting into sports radio and actually producing shows and hosting shows and everything else. And I climbed the ladder pretty quick. I mean, for me, I started at that promotions job as a 22-year-old with, generally speaking, no work experience, right? Like I just got out of school and figuring it out. And 7 years later, without being a formally trained host in any way, I had a nationally syndicated show. So to be able to climb the ladder like that, the only reason that I was able to do it, well, it was really two things. One is that I was a complete obsessive. Like I was just willing to study all of these things and ask people questions and see if they would give me time and listen to things, listen to myself, listen to other hosts, and just think about like what makes them good? Why do I like this? Why do other people like this? And from there, just being willing to put in the time. I mean, I was sleeping on couches and missing family events, and you know what I mean. Like on some level, I burned a lot of my 20s doing it. There was cost, but doing all of that was also the reason why I climbed so quickly. So, like from that background side, yeah, like that's how I got all of this experience and really became this like technically obsessed kind of guy with an audio format. And eventually, the version of me today, you could pretty much say happened because I burned out and I didn't believe in the future of the radio industry, if you will, just corporate radio. I didn't have belief in it as a younger guy trying to build my future. And I figured I might as well just leap into podcasting full tilt and see where it takes me.
I mean, that's one heck of a story, man, with a ton of energy in it, and I absolutely love it. So you've been doing this for more than a minute. I mean, it's in your blood at this point. You've paid some dues.
Oh, I've paid all the dues. Yeah, it'd be nice if the dues paid me more, but beyond that, Yeah, like I've seen it in a lot of different ways, man. I mean, I've worked with stuff that's totally entertainment in different kinds of ways. Hey, I'm just going to tell personal stories. I've obviously been around a ton of sports shows in different capacities, different kinds of business shows, different industries within business. So I've seen a ton live shows, live streams, radio shows. Like it's just all of these different avenues of it. So I've seen a ton. And I've done it as a host, as a producer, somebody doing social media, like a lot of different ways. So, yeah, I mean, it's been nice because everything that all that experience that I have is boiled down to a point now where what I'm doing day to day actually makes sense to me, and it is more as much as it's varied because it is podcasting and it touches so many different areas of life. Like podcasting is newsletters, it is social media, but and for me, it is business management and business principles and all of that as well. So as much as it's a lot, it is that same lane every single day. My job is to run great shows for businesses. That's the number one thing that I do, and I just try to help those people as best I can, and that's really it.
All right, and you just cracked the seal on the whole niche thing. So, I mean, what you do is you run podcasts for businesses. So, if I own a business, I own XYZ Industries, and I want to have to help my sales team, I want to have my podcast be a marketing thing, and I want to get this up and running, but I don't know how to do it. I don't have any idea. Is that where you come in, and do you actually like do it?
So 100%, it's where I come in, and the ranges of what I can do range quite a bit. So part of it is, let's say, okay, first off, what I can do with anybody and have done many times and actively do it now. Creating the concept for the show and the strategy behind it, right? What do you want to get out of the show? What is the main goal for it? What are the main avenues that you promote on? What is the kind of audience that you're speaking to? What are you selling? What does your team look like? Is it just you? Do you have multiple people and departments? Like, what do you have strategic partners? You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things to dissect. So it's really a deep dive into like who are you and what is your business and who do you serve and what is your ecosystem and what things are a natural advantage for you? How can we lean into what you do every day and make that the show? Because I think the biggest problem that people have is when they approach something like this, they're going, okay, well, I have to come up with this whole new post for Instagram and a whole other post for TikTok and this whole other thing. And it's like, no, 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 not really. Like the principles are the same, right? Yeah, you're ultimately sharing with people ideas, right? This is how you do this thing. I can help you solve this problem. Like that's the message. And it's the same everywhere. So I help them understand, by understanding their business and what's around them, I help them simplify what that message is and who they serve, put that into the show, and use that as an easy way to have that podcast really be the center of their marketing overall, because you can get that transcript and turn it into a newsletter. You can get clips from that show and put them out. You can repurpose the content of those clips and make it a carousel or make it a text post. Like you can cover so much ground. And so that's my philosophy. As much as I can know everybody involved, understand what everyone's capable of, how much time they can dedicate, how much money they want to dedicate, that's really the puzzle up front. And then once I get a feel for everybody's team, and we even do like pilot episodes, which we can talk about, which is let's do one. We're not going to tell a soul about it. We're just going to do one. And we're going to make sure we go through the process and we all like it and we understand it and the product is good and it's repeatable. And assuming that everybody agrees with that, that's a stakeholder in this, great. Now let's talk about what the show would actually look like in a launch phase and go and build that. So I'm very intentional with all of this. And if it doesn't work, like we redo the pilot. So that's the idea. But it's really all about, understanding everything that a business is about, how to simplify their marketing, and just make sure they're getting their message in as many places. So if that means my team, like I have a business partner and we do have contractors from time to time that come in on certain projects. So if they need that, no problem. Like, let's get a team together. We'll put that all together. You got the budget for it. Great. Let's go get this done. If it turns out they want to DIY stuff, they're a smaller business. They don't have a major budget. No problem. We can do that too. Like I can train them to DIY, honestly. And I have done that. And otherwise I just coach and fill the gaps. So there's like so many ranges of how I try to treat it. Like we're a small business right now, which means we can be flexible. We set the rules. But the idea is there's so many different shapes of businesses, and podcasting can be it's so many things in itself, right? Like that
Right.
flexibility of podcasting is just so wide. You can't really define what it is. And so I think it's been important for us up front to be flexible as well to reflect what these specific businesses really need in their show, what goals they want to hit.
I love that. And one of the things when I was, reading into you and listening to your podcast episodes and things like this, I was going, this is very unique. It's not the type of thing you just find on the market. Most of the folks I talk to they're running their own podcasts. They have a topic, we're going down a similar path, just in different, avenues. This is so different with what you do. You're meeting a business where they are. Then it sounds like, and you're catering your services to what they may want in a lot of ways. Now, just in terms of a business model, how hectic is that?
So it's getting simpler all the time, for
Really?
sure. Yeah, because I'm able to define things in a certain way, right? Like, okay, you need this level of work done if you're an audio show with video clips, for example, which I encourage for anybody, by the way. Like, if you've got the opportunity to do it and you can record video, which like there's no reason you can't really, then do an audio show with video clips. Great. So I know how to price that if it's a 15-minute show and we're doing two of those in an hour, or if it's one 40-minute episode, like I can map that out. It's pretty much the same workload wise. That's the same cost. If they're doing a video show with that, you're just increasing the rate. It's additional time to go and execute that video, and it's an additional product. So, okay, I've got an idea of what that price point is. And so that kind of thing makes it simple. Having a coaching rate that's standard makes it simple. And if anything, the complication comes from the range of clients that I have, because like the stakes of it, the amount of people that have a stake in it. Like if you're going to have more departments and things that are involved, and there's more red tape, and the amount of being methodical that's required, and the audience size and the impact of the moves that you make, like that's going to cost more, because it has to be a more thoughtful development and process and everything else. For smaller business owners, hey, like you're a solopreneur and you're just trying to get some clients into your business, I will help you manufacture that business, right? So we can be a little more flexible and free because these people trust me. They don't have anybody else they answer to. We're just rocking and rolling, and we can take more risks and refine more as we go. Because part of this is I need to understand what their capability is. People always want to believe in the best version of themselves, and I do the same. But sometimes that situation is not realistic, or the skills that they might have shown up front weren't quite as developed as I thought, or their consistency isn't as good as it could be. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot more give and take there. It is smaller stakes, and they are getting more immediate wins. So yeah, like the biggest challenge for me in terms of pricing and models, yeah, it's really scaling up in terms of clientele with because I want to start working with more people that are bigger businesses and bigger teams, and really max this stuff out. Because I mean, man, you give me like a corporation that's got some real marketing budget behind it, can take all these big swings in production value and marketing strategies to, hey, we're going to advertise this on this newsletter, we're going to talk with this influencer, we're going to get a write-up in this magazine, and let's do a PR push. Like I'm dreaming of that opportunity. So that's where that bigger dollar figure will come. But for now, it's been a lot of solopreneurs and things, and it's been pretty consistent in terms of the size of those businesses. So yeah, it's been simple enough to price it as flexible as it can be.
Nice. And so your services, you'll go from uh, teaching somebody how to do it, you get them set up, get it all ready, teach someone else how to do it, and then just sort of like, release into the wilderness and good luck to sink or swim. Or if that's what they want, of course. Or
Yeah.
you will also like do the show where you're the host and just every week you're going to do the show.
So I
Am I
have
reading that
one
right?
client right now where I am planning to do the show. So we've recorded 6 episodes right now in the pilot stage.
Wow.
So we're going to be releasing that very soon. We just got to, and it's a bigger company. We got some red tape, so we're working through that. But the show is put together and I am hosting it. So yeah, I mean the simple level of that is if the price is right, absolutely, I could go and host that show. There's also a bandwidth issue for me because I have to run the business. So that's why it's like I don't mind bringing in other people. I don't need to grab onto everything. I understand that as a business owner. Like I have to release and delegate and believe in people and train them and all that. But yeah, I mean, I am open to hosting shows. I have done that for people. But I think in a lot of cases, especially from that business side, like they are the business. And so it makes as much sense as I can get them or a representative of that business and coach them to be a great host. That's the true win for everybody because now,
Hmm.
that person's a better public speaker. They have the expertise in that knowledge. If it turns out for some reason, and on it's funny because this is to my own detriment, but if the business evolves and the show grows and everything's great and they're running well and that host has gotten really good, there might come a point where they outgrow me. And that's okay. Like they don't need me day to day and they just need to check in every couple of months if things go off the track or they're having problems or whatever. But like if that gets to that stage where they're so good that they don't need me anymore, I've won. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Right.
success story. It's not a lost client. So that's how I view all of this stuff. So yeah, I try to empower other people as much as possible.
Nice. And then in terms of building the podcast and doing it and everything else, I think everybody who's listening kind of gets that idea. Are you also counseling or coaching the businesses on all of the marketing that goes with a podcast? Like we said, all of the social media and all of the other things that go along with it. Are you doing all of that other marketing with the business as well?
So what I'm doing is I try to develop the shows in a way that it is a strategic way of business development, marketing materials, all this kind of stuff, right? Like all the
Right.
things you want to do to grow the business, you're doing that on the show. So it is very much a reflection of like your overall business strategy. And with that, yeah, I'm advising them basically how to do this on the organic level, right? So I'm not a full marketing agency to that point. And when it comes to that stage of like people who have aggressively run those campaigns, like if they know the right places to go to do advertising campaigns for a podcast and the right platform to do that on and the kinds of shows to hit and the demographics to split and all those things. Like I'm not an expert in that space. I'd love to meet those people, and I'm going to be taking some shots on my own as I grow my show and my business. Like I want more work in that area. But for the people that I've worked with so far, it's been a lot of just organic grinding of these things. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can I help these people increase their posting volume, increase their connections that they have on these platforms, so have more authentic people in their feed and in their network, and as a result of being top of mind and consistent and having better relationships, bring in more business. And for that business, ideally, we're also talking high ticket. So if you can sell something where that sale gets you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, you know what I mean, over the course of the year, then you're killing it.
Right.
And it's cool because it simplifies the goal too. It's like, can I help you as a bootstrap business owner get to a stage where you make one sale that can dramatically change your bottom line over the course of a year? And like people have been very willing to work with me on those things and also give me patience because they know there's no budget behind it. We are grinding all of this stuff out. It does take work to do that, and the payoff is big. So it's been great from a relationship standpoint too, because we've been able to grow over time. It's not a lot of like hack and slash where they bring me on for 2 months and then cut me loose, and you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's it's been good.
I love what you're doing, and I love the fact that you're looking at podcasting from such a different lens. Now you came up through hosting and doing radio and the whole nine yards, so you've been on the host side of the mic. That's where you've been. What inspired thought happened? What transpired for you to like think of, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go do this thing that everybody's doing. I'm going to do this way that like almost nobody's doing, and I'm going to go be successful at it over here. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, on some level, I'm a crazy person. I think on some level, I've always tried to be inventive in a lot of different ways and explore the boundaries of stuff. I'm an optimist, so I always want to believe that I can figure out problems and help people out, and I like helping people. Yeah, so that's where a lot of it comes from on a personal level. But then the other side of it is when I got started doing podcasting as a true business, like leaving radio, getting into podcasting, and trying to do something full time. I got in with what was a startup studio then, and everybody there, they wanted to be the next big sports show, or here's our stories from the bar. Let's do some comedy podcast and things like that. And like we'd put in all this work to come up with the logo for the show and build the feed and get an episode recorded and have a trailer. And it's this well produced trailer. And then what do you know? The guys no call no show us. We're chasing them for their bills. They cancel the show after 3 episodes because they just realize, oh, we only got 4 listeners and this is going to be hard work. Who would have thought? So like, you know what I mean? It was just like seeing all that kind of stuff constantly. Like I have this memory memory that's burned in my brain of me and the guys that were running that studio. We were talking at like 1 in the morning because this thing is dying. Like this business is not going to make it. And I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, look, everybody that's a show like this is a goldfish from a carnival. And the next day after we've brought it home, it dies. And we can't do this. Like it's just not a viable business. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. So we need to make a change. And leaning towards the idea of there are a lot of businesses out there that have podcasts that need help with that. They want those same things that I was providing to these other shows of talking with them about how to present a topic and how to create large amounts of content and how to be able to post that consistently. And you know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that I was really good at. And that was why these bad shows stayed longer than they should have. They liked the work that I did for them. You know, they liked working with me. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm on to something here. And I ended up leaving that studio and going out and now it's me and one other guy and we run SBX and we've been focused on helping businesses. So that's really where we started to gear it in, was seeing where it went wrong horrifically and then having to just entirely reroute what we did for something that would at least help us survive. And from there, it's just been able to constantly work at it and work at it and explore new markets, which we continue to do and just try to refine it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now I had a little experience. I didn't try to do what you do, but when I first started in podcasting, was, part-time podcasting, working full-time. And the company that I was with knew I was doing a podcast, and they got kind of intrigued by it. And they're like, "Hey, maybe we should do a podcast for the business." And I thought it was a great idea back then, years ago, and we talked about it, but there was just something about the company mindset that like couldn't wrap around the idea of what a podcast was good for, for the business. Now, those of us who are in podcasting, we all, of course, know what it's good for. It makes total sense. Why wouldn't you use one of the most popular mediums out there to spread your message? But the company mindset was so different than the podcaster mindset. So, I mean, how do you bridge that gap and get, the corporate guy who has no clue how this all fits together to understand, the value, the immense value that you're bringing them?
Yeah. So what I would tell them is get everything they know about podcasting and throw it in the garbage because odds are their understanding is terrible. And it's all the stuff that I was talking about earlier, right? It's all of these people from a business side. They're thinking, well, okay, well, how do we get that big audience and how do we get sponsors on it and all this kind of stuff, which is
Right.
completely the wrong path. So that's the idea. It was I would have to tell those kinds of people it has nothing to do with entertainment. This is marketing for you, and this is a way to. It's not about how do you monetize the podcast. It's how does the podcast help you sell more, and that's all you need to think about. And so if you can put it in that mindset, and if it's going to make it easier for your marketing people to make new content, if it's going to be easier for executives in your business or whoever it might be that's hosting this show from your side, if that's going to be easier for business development, because a lot of people are going to come on a podcast, not everybody's going to come out for coffee. So, like, how do you do those kinds of things and set yourself up where the business is just by a matter of fact that this show exists, your business is growing? That's the goal, right? And then all of the other stuff is an aside. But when you can say definitively, well, we're posting 3 more times a week, so our exposure is a lot better. We're getting more volume on things. Our engagement is going up, like our followers and likes or whatever. Like those things are creeping up slowly but surely. Great. You're making more connections with people in your industry or getting people in your business and helping define them, like build their brand and their status and their representative for you. Great. Like now you can send those people to conventions and things and you've got more mileage to go off of. So that's the idea. Like it's going to help you sell more, it's going to create opportunity, and ideally it just makes your overall content production and marketing process easier. So whether you get massive downloads or not, things will be better, and just for that reason alone you should do it.
So it's the podcast equals the 24/7 salesperson that never rests, is always out there, evergreen, marketing your business type of thing.
100%.
It's fascinating. The fact that you can get business owners to like open up and accept that is amazing to me. And honestly, brother, just applause everywhere to you for being able to crack through that rock headedness that I've I've run into in too many instances. Because wow. They just don't get it.
Yeah. It's hard, man, and that's the biggest problem. I think podcasting is so broad too, and that is the issue as well, right? Because like I said, everybody thinks about podcasting, they think about entertainment shows and that whole strategy and monetization path that goes with it. But even for me to explain to people, like, okay, well, they're like, so you're B2B, right? And I'm like, well, kind of, like my business is B2B. Absolutely. I'm working with other businesses. That's what I do. I'm B2B. But
Right.
the shows that I make are not B2B. A lot of times they're B2C, right? Like you are people, you're talking to you're a coach, a consultant, like you could be talking to the public, but yeah, you could be talking to other businesses. It's not a given. I've got a nonprofit client, for example. That's not B2B. Like
Right.
so there's a lot of ranges. It's just I'm a strategist that makes shows that fit different angles. You know what I mean? So they're different playbooks entirely. So I think it's hard to describe that because there isn't a language for it. So the best I say is, yeah, I make podcasts for businesses and people interpret that as they may. And I just hope for the best. Yeah.
I was going to ask, so what exactly is your title, when it comes to that? So, a strategist, I mean, publicist, head marketing guru, how do you package that up?
Yeah, I think to some degree it is I'm a strategist. On some level, I think I'm Rube Goldberg. Like it's just you're coming up with these elaborate machines, and it's like, okay, well let's get this waffle maker over here and this fishing line over here, and let's put these things together, and we're going to do this very specific strategy for this very specific thing. Like that's what's so fascinating to me is the creative ways to use it, and some of the stuff that I've talked about with people but have not done yet, for example, is I think of you're a real estate agent, right? And let's say you're looking to sell houses to a certain kind of person. What you could do with a podcast is you could have a 5-part series, a 7-part series, a 10-part series, whatever, that literally walks people through the stages of the process as they work with you. And to say, hey, you just joined us. So I'm going to be working on all of this kind of stuff. And as I'm working on all of this kind of stuff, you should be doing A, B, and C. And I want you to think about these things. You know what I mean? And like you can handhold people and do that as a business. And it's such a value add for your business because the communication level and comfort that people will feel with you is like astronomical, right? You can't beat that level of customer service and the referrals that you could get because of it. But how do you describe that? Like, what is that? You know,
Right.
I don't know, but those are the things that I think about all the time. So yeah, I think it's a strategist, but I'm a football nut. It's like, am I an offensive coordinator? Kind of like, I don't know. It could be, it's a lot of different places.
I love that. Okay, so your podcast itself, the one that you run, it's not just talking with Vince Quinn.
Yeah.
Now you've got a lot of short form stuff on there, maybe 10 minutes ish, type of thing. Good pieces of advice, stuff like that. But is your podcast then kind of like are you the living model of what you're trying to do? Because that's your lead generation, that's your business
100%
marketing.
I'm living what I preach. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it's the most important thing that I could do, frankly, when it comes to the business is just live it. And it's great too because it allows me to do so many things, and it's the kind of things I was literally talking about with a coaching client earlier today. So for example, I can bring people on, and the way I've done it so far, and I'm going to evolve this a little bit, but I've been able to source guests from different places. And they're business experts in some capacity, but they're a business owner with a podcast, which means everybody that's come on my show theoretically could be a potential client. So that's a good spot for me,
All right.
right? So now I'm having conversations with business owners that have podcasts. Great. Nailed that. Now, next thing is these people are also business experts in their own way. And so I get to have a conversation and let them feel good because obviously they're guesting on the show. They want to talk about their stuff. They want to get their word out there. They want to look good. So I talk to them about those things, about their business, and I'm learning as a business owner. Hey, you're into automation and AI. Let's talk about that. What are the ways you're using it? How does it help you? How could I implement it? Here's some things that I do. What do you think of that? And by doing all of that, now I'm doing basically market research. I'm doing business development. I'm making a ton of content out of it. So my social awareness has gone through the roof. I mean, I literally went from I don't know, like 30 posts a week or 30 posts in 3 months to 300. You know what I mean? It's just like it was crazy. So we've been able to we literally 10x'd our posting volume. We over 10x'd our engagement. So likes and things like that, views skyrocketed over 2,000%. Like it was crazy. So that was our goal, though. It was, we need awareness because we are so niche, right? It's just like nobody knows about us. We're only talking to business owners who are interested in a podcast or have a podcast currently. It's not many people. So as much as I can be top of mind, that's the number one thing that I can do right now on a small budget with a small business and limited time. So I'm going to use the show, max that out in as many ways as I possibly can, and use that to get clients and drive my business. And that's what it's been. We launched the show in October. One of the best things we ever did.
So the podcast is your lead gen. It's your promotion for your business
100%. And the
all the
cool
way.
thing is too, because you know what's funny is people sometimes ask like, what is your most important metric? And the number one thing that I actually care about right now, and this is completely insane, but it is absolutely true. LinkedIn profile views is the number one thing that I care about right now because I need people to know that I exist and I want them to know in the professional space. So I'm active on LinkedIn all the time. I connect with everybody that has me on their show. I connect with anybody that comes on my show. I try to engage with their stuff. And through that, when I'm getting people that I've never met or I haven't talked to in a very long time, or whatever, and they're looking at my profile and they're trying to figure out who I am, I've won the battle. You know what I mean? Like my awareness has definitively gone up because I know for a fact that person was curious about me even for a second and decided to check out what I'm about. So as much as I can use the content to drive that and the amount of times that people in my network through LinkedIn have sent me DMs with another person to go, hey, I'd like to introduce you to this person or that person. They're interested in podcasting. Like that's been a real thing. And I didn't expect that necessarily when I started doing it, but it's exactly where it should be. You know, it makes all the sense in the world. And this is generally where I wanted it to go. So that's the whole intent of the show. That's the kind of ways that it's really helped me grow.
That's fantastic. I mean, to be doing this, you have to love podcasting, I would think, because you're not able to like just sit here and talk about a topic that, you're passionate about because you're doing it as a business and you're providing that service to other folks. You might be doing it for a pipe fitting business or something that you don't particularly have any passion for, but is a viable business. So you have to actually love the art and the process of podcasting itself in order to do what you're doing.
Oh no, I absolutely love the process of it. Yeah, when you get somebody to suggest a great topic for a show, it's the best feeling ever. Like the person I was talking with earlier today, they're in marketing and technology, and they help businesses like refine what their systems are internally to support their marketing process. So one of her things is I'll talk to her. I'm like, give me an idea for an episode. And she's like, well, I hate seeing Gmail accounts for a business. Get your own domain. And I was like, all right, like here we go. Like this is something, and just the energy she had with that and how specific it was and how it fit within her lane. I was like, this is good stuff. And compared to what she was doing before, huge improvement. So I love that. And the other part of it is too, I just like people. I mean, I just like being around people. I've always been out and about, like a very social guy. I've got a lot of friends, maintained a lot of friendships. It's just always been important to me. So I enjoy people and I like helping people, and so I'm doing that through podcasting, and it's just just everything ties together. It's a really natural thing to do.
That's great. The now the corny question that I usually ask, you might have just answered it, so I better get it out before you actually do answer it, and we run out of potential answers. But corny question I always ask is, in terms of doing your podcast, and for you doing your podcast is a much wider range because you're doing it for so many people. But when you're doing your podcast, you're doing what you do. What is the thing about it that you love the most, and what is the thing about it that you just hate the most?
Yeah. So what I love the most is when it feels like that topic truly falls into place. Like when you find that thing and it's you've distilled it down to this very clear and very specific thought that can lead to a great conversation. And to be able to do that is the absolute joy because it drives everything, right? Like you can talk about all this different stuff of production processes and promoting and everything else that goes into a show. But if the topic sucks, nobody cares. So you got to be able to have a good show, and that's the root of all entertainment. Period. Entertainment, education, anything else. People aren't going to tune in if they don't think it's interesting. So to be able to boil that stuff down, and like I said earlier, I mean, to help other people find that moment and guide them to be able to do that consistently, that's the joy. for sure. Like that is the number one thing. I absolutely love doing that. It's so much fun. And then beyond that, yeah, what do I hate? So I hate everything that has to deal with social media, to be honest with you. Like as
Yeah.
much as that is a part of the job, like to come up with posts and everything, dealing with all the captions and editing, like I that stuff just I don't do it so much anymore. Thank God I have a business partner, and like that's how we've shared the workload is he's taken on a lot of the editing and publishing and things like that. So it's been a gift. But yeah, generally speaking, I hate doing that stuff. I was never good at that stuff. I didn't like it. And now it's only gotten to the point now because like all the strategy that we've talked about, I just developed that in like the last year. You know, I've been really beating my head against the wall to get a lot of this stuff together. It took time to develop this, but now that we're there, at least I can understand it more and it's easier to do. But if you're asking me to like point the camera at myself and just rip a 30-second like, hey, everybody got an event coming up, you should come on out, like, you know, like I hate that shit. It just sorry if I don't know if we can curse on this,
You're
but
okay.
you know,
You're
it is what
okay.
it is. So yeah, I hate doing that. And it's one of those things that it just feels I hate feeling inauthentic. And I think a lot of times social media can almost force you into that position. So I don't like that so much. And that's why I try to make it as much of, you know, clips from the show to be what drives it. That's natural to me. And that's why I like using those kinds of things for all the marketing that we do.
No, it's great. Great answer. Great answer. Promotion and social media is usually one of the top three, answers to what do I hate the most. Editing clearly is number one, like almost
Okay.
always with my
Yeah, I was
people.
going to
But
ask what the others were. So that's great. Okay.
editing, number
Editing
one
makes all the
answer on the
sense.
board. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but promotion and social media are usually top three. So I get it. I feel that.
Yep.
This is something I just decided to start asking folks because I hate it, but I'm a dinosaur. Are you one of the guys who fully embraces AI and uses it for everything, or are you someone like me who's a dinosaur and absolutely can't stand it, thinks it's going to take over the world, or are you somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I do use AI a good bit. I think there's some level of it where it's simple, and when you think about what the norms are for people, like because one of the annoying things for me, and I mentioned this just a minute ago, the captions on AI. Because if it was up to me on a clip, everything would be precise, and it's not just that every single word would be correct, which AI does. I mean, it kind of gets right. It's like 80%, 90%. Like it's fine. Um, but the pacing of it, like when somebody's speaking, the amount of words that are on the screen and when it shifts and what the clauses are so that it's clear, you know, sometimes mid-phrase it switches from slide to slide, which looks really weird when you see the text. Like that kind of thing drives me crazy. But the fact of the matter is you're making a ton of stuff. People don't have that expectation, especially on, and again, like lower budgets and all those things. They're not going to get that level of editing. So I just deal with it. I know it's valuable enough for what it does, but we only use AI for the captions. When it comes to figuring out what the clip is, we make that decision. We don't let AI drive that for us because frankly, it doesn't do a good enough job. It's like when the clip when it should start, when it should end, what should get trimmed out in the middle, because sometimes you have asides that don't belong. You need to have an artful mind. You need to be very specific about those things. And AI can take other people's clips and get the idea and get you an average of what a clip is, but that's it. You know, so if you want a truly excellent clip, you want people who know what a good clip is to do it. And so we do that. Even for our lower paying clients, we choose what it is and then the AI caption. So yeah, I use that. I have custom GPTs that I use for certain things to simplify tasks from time to time, just day to day as a business owner. It makes my life easier. Now you can talk to Chat GPT, which for me, being a chatterbox, as you can tell, I just don't shut up. Well, to be able to talk to GPT like that and say, I've got an idea for a newsletter and I have a transcript from my episode that I've already done. I can say, hey, well, here's what we have in the transcript. I'm going to send that to you now. And then with that, I'm thinking we do a newsletter on this section. Generally speaking, I think the outline is going to be this. And then I want to hit this. And then I think these are some important points. And I want to close it out with this message and go write that for me. And then I'll go and edit that down to, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think AI is important. I think the fact of the matter is everybody else is going to be using it. And I have to appreciate that. Like there's some level of competition I need to be cognizant of and try to embrace and build the business around that. But I do fight for people I think it's important to have people in the process of these things and have expertise and taste and differences in opinion and taste at the table, because you get different styles of shows and you want that flexibility. Like, so I think all of that matters. But yeah, for the basic stuff, I don't mind using AI. It didn't take me long to get there either. I jumped into experiment pretty much right away.
It's because you're a young guy. That's why you really you're like,
Yeah.
hey, just another tool. Let's do it. I'm over here going, it's the bane of our existence. It's going to take over the world. I can't stand it. But no, listen, I respect and appreciate the opinion, and I love the fact that you still care that there's some art form to it, and when you look at it. So that's awesome. That really is.
Yeah, no, there has to be. Yeah, because if you reduce everything to just what AI provides, you're not going to be different than anybody. You're not going to be pushed to any new level in any different way. You're not going to stand out. Like by default, it is the amalgamation and like average of things. You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, like that's what you're going to get. And if you want to have great results and grow, you just can't settle for that. So
Love
you got to be smart.
it. Love it. Well, I love your project. I love what you're doing. I love your business. I think it's cutting edge, to be honest. I love seeing somebody taking podcasting to the business world. For a long time, I've been saying if you have a business, if you're an independent contractor, you've got to have a podcast. You have to have one. And you're out there going, not only do you have to have one, but I'm going to help you make it.
Yeah.
So I love the sales pitch. I really, really do. Is that something that you're in charge of in terms of like going out finding new clients, doing the sales pitch and all that? Are you the front guy or are you more on the back end?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% the front guy. I mean, yeah, I don't shut up. I like being around people. Like, yeah, this is what I do. So I'm out and about. I'm always meeting people. We have two co-working spaces that we're partnered with. You can find me at those places a lot and shaking hands there and operating. We have studios that operate in those co-working spaces, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm always doing that. Joining networking groups, active on Slack, active on LinkedIn, all those different things. I am the business development guy. I love that. And it's been great because, yeah, my business partner's an engineer. So he's built studios. He's chosen all of the equipment. He knows how everything works. He can troubleshoot stuff for people. We just have a great ebb and flow in that way. And I think, frankly, the trust that we have in each other to do those opposite ends of the work and really not interfere with each other as much as just support each other has been everything. And if I didn't have that relationship with him, this business wouldn't be here. So it's been really good to be like, I don't have to obsess about that stuff as much as I could. I could still edit if I need to. I could sit in an engineer if I wanted to. I don't think it's the best thing for me or the business, and he agrees, and it's been a blessing. So yeah, I try to. If anything, he yells at me if I try to edit stuff anymore.
Nice. I can appreciate that, man. I really can. All right, as we kind of bring this wrap it up and think, I want to go with what I usually is my last question. You've given a lot of different tips, advice, and everything else throughout this entire interview, and I love it. But if you're talking to a podcaster who's just not quite where you are, in terms of being accomplished, in terms of learning the business and getting where you are today. What's your best piece of advice for a podcaster, not necessarily in the business space like you are, but just any podcaster who's out there trying to do their thing to get where you are?
Yeah, ask people if you can pick their brain. That's the number one thing that I would recommend. Get as many people as you possibly can that you respect for whatever reason and see if they will give you 10 minutes. And you will be surprised the number of people that will say yes. That was one of the number one things. It was the number one thing that I did in radio. That's how I climbed the chart, like up there, the ladder so quickly, because I would go to people. I wasn't a producer. I had no producer training whatsoever. I didn't know any of the equipment. I didn't know how any of it worked. I had never been educated on it. I had no clue. I got back from shifts on the promotions team. I would go to the engineers and producers and I'd say, guys, can I just like sit in with the notebook and ask you some questions? And they were like, yeah, that's cool. Like, no problem. You can hang out. And then I would just ask them things and write stuff down and figure that out. And eventually I got a job as a fill-in producer. And then as I was doing that, I was trying to be a host and I asked my bosses if they would listen to my tapes on my podcast and give me feedback. And they said yes. And I would ask other hosts if I, like, as I was running their shows during commercial breaks or after the show, hey, I noticed you set up the topic that way. Why'd you do that? Can you explain that to me? And they would. Like, as much as you can get people that are willing to share that information, like, be on the hunt for it. Like, whatever that thing is you want to be good at, find somebody else who does it well. And it doesn't need to be that it's like world class. It just needs to be they do it better than you and you like something about the way they do it. Like, ask those people for ideas, pick their brain on it, and see what you get. because you're the value that you get, not only the information but also the potential connection, right? Like a mentor within your network now, and what that can unlock for you. It's just the opportunity is too great, and you have to go and make the leap. It's totally worth it.
That is a fantastic piece of advice to leave for people, and I don't hear that enough. Go out there, ask for what you want. It's fantastic. Vince, listen, I love what you're doing. I love the way you're doing it. I wish you nothing but luck and good fortune and riches in your path, brother, for what you're trying to do out there. So, thank you for coming on the show, sharing all this with everybody. Any parting thoughts for anybody?
Yeah, I'm so jealous of your voice. That's the parting thought. I'm so jealous, and to be able to listen to your voice consistently, like as a listener, you are absolutely spoiled. Like it's a fantastic voice. I'm so jealous of you. You have no idea. But like I swear to God, the second I hit play on your show, I was like, this is the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. So
Wow.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, it's been great to talk with you. It's been lovely to listen to you, but great to talk with you. And yeah, I just really appreciate the time, man.
Well, Vince, I appreciate all that, dude. You've got a fantastic voice yourself, so it's very well received. I appreciate the compliment. Thanks for that, man.
Sure thing.
But I appreciate you being on the show, folks. This has been another just awesome episode of the Podcaster Nation. I could probably sit here and riff with Vince all day long about podcasting because we just have a similar energy going back and forth. Love what this guy's doing. One of the things I love is that he's created a whole new idea from what a lot of us have about how to use podcasting, how to go out there and monetize it, how to build a business. And I think we can all take a lesson in creativity from this guy, even though he does use a little bit of AI, but we won't hold that against him. So, um, folks, this is the podcast that is for podcasters. It's about podcasters and it's done by podcasters. This is the place where the rising tide really and truly raises all ships. So keep sailing.